in audio. In audio. In audio. George Morgan here and Jack Canat. All the lights are currently lit here on track, and it is go, go, go!
Contact through the Mercedes teammate.
Denoso with a crafty manoeuvre up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Do not count out Danny Beresne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Foreman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion. Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be in the world, and welcome along to PSGL. We've got 2 rounds to go in this thrilling F2 season, and first of all, for your penultimate round, we head to the Sin City itself. Las Vegas, we hit under the dark sky night. My name's Tom Knight, and alongside me is Alex Heron to take you through all of the action. Alex, how you doing? It feels weird to be back after another mid-season break.
Yeah, it certainly does, but we are obviously back after that mid-season break of Japan last time out. What a crazy race that was, indeed, but we are back here for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Now, of course, we have a very tight championship battle going into the final 2 rounds of the season, and it's going to be very close. We don't have a standings page. I was about to say let's go to the standings page, but we do. Oh, we do have a standings page.
We do. We've at least got the spreadsheet page at the moment. And now the interesting thing is, Riccardo Benzoni leads the championship by a singular point as we head into our penultimate round. And I was saying to Alex here this afternoon, unless he gets a clean sweep this afternoon, so that would be wins the race, fastest lap, and pole position, he cannot secure the championship this afternoon.
Which means it will go to the final round of the season in Bahrain. And obviously Angelo is in second. They are both racing here tonight. And around a street obviously around a street track like Vegas, anything can happen. Obviously it would be nice to see a champion crowned in Vegas, but I think Benzoni would have to pull off his greatest drive he has done this season.
Yeah, he certainly would. It's going to have to be an incredible drive. And again, I love talking statistics. I love talking numbers. If Riccardo Benzoni manages to get, I think it's 17 out of the available 18 points tonight, he's still not safe, because in theory, if he DNFs next week and Angelo DNFs this week, Angelo could take the title by 0 points on count back to 3rd place finishes, which Angelo secured back in round 1, Alex.
Yeah, that would be quite incredible if it happened. I think would it be a first time in history? It might be.
Quite possibly. I'll be honest, I haven't counted back through 36 seasons.
No, we seem to be causing quite a lot of first-time histories in PSGL with us.
It's just the charm.
Now, just to give everyone a quick update what's actually going on, because you may be wondering why we're waffling so much and going through stuff. Turns out that when TK loaded into the lobby, he had forgotten to remove some sponsor boards that he had, which means he couldn't get into the lobby. So he's currently verifying his game files. I can tell you there is a qualifying session going on right now, and I'll quickly run down what's happened. Liam Stevens quit and then DNF'd.
Okay.
I don't think on purpose, but he is now out of the session. Right now we got fastest laps flying in with Riccardo Benzoni fastest. Then Luca Rapassa replaces him. So right now Luca Rapassa is top of the timesheets with a 29.385. And there's a couple of other cars jumping around the places. Jan goes third. We're keeping an eye on our championship contenders, but actually Andrew Decencio only went 11 fastest on their first lap. And keeping an eye on where is Riccardo Benzoni. He's only second right now, so he wouldn't be able to, as it stands, win the championship tonight because he hasn't taken that pole position. So your top three out, just so everyone knows, is Rapata on top with Benzoni, and then Jan in the top three.
Yeah, and if you are just coming in, I apologise. I'll throw my hands in the air. This is 100% an issue on my part. I got an issue when I was trying to load into the game, so unfortunately I've had to go back and verify the Steam files, which we're all aware isn't the quickest of processes. We're at the 65% mark, but on the way there. So Alex, thankfully, is keeping us updated with the quali results as they're starting, and I'm hoping to be able to get into the lobby before the race starts.
You certainly should be. There's still about 13 minutes left in qualifying. Everyone has done their first laps. Now, of course, this is your first time watching PSGL this season. Welcome. We're happy to have you here. And yes, sorry, it's normally not like this. But second of all, we have got the cars ghosted in the lobby right now, which basically means we will have a reset of after qualifying. We'll reset before going into the main race, mostly because of the slipstream effect in this year's game. It is too powerful to have on in qualifying, so unfortunately we have to have ghosted cars, which is a shame because it does ruin your guys' experiences. But it's okay in the end. It doesn't mean you're going to get more rambling from us, though, unfortunately, as we've already added quite a lot of rambling today. But if we carry on mentioning TK, obviously we can't see you can't see the laps right now. But in terms of with 2 rounds to go this season, we've obviously seen the whole of F2. Missed a couple of races here and there. But who's really impressed you so far this year in F2?
It's a tough one because there's been so many good drivers that have come through F2 in the course of the season. I mean, you look at the likes of Angelo D'Ortenzio or even Riccardo Benzoni, the 2 drivers at the top of the championship at the moment. But if you look further down there, there's been drivers that have given us fantastic performances and also not been able to, well, not necessarily been able to convert it in the season run. Killian over on Twitch, as we were saying just a couple of minutes ago, had to verify my Steam files. We can't show the game right now, but I'm hoping in the next couple of minutes that will be done. We'll re-download it and we will be able to go straight onto onto the game team. I've just got to do a really quick download. It is doing it at the moment because 99 files apparently were missing for me.
99 files failed to validate. It's amazing the game even booted, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I managed to boot Grand Theft Auto 5 when it was missing 140 files once. We were playing online at the time. Do you remember when my game crashed at that time when we were doing that? Was great fun. We need to do another one of those soon. Hopefully it will happen. I think
if Alex goes a little bit choppy, I apologise. It's because my internet's trying to download all the files at the same time.
Yes, it's not my microphone. We fixed that problem from last week.
This is 100% on me, and I wish we could have postponed going live. But I'd already clicked the go live button when we tried to load into the lobby.
We'd already committed to it because we assumed there was no problem with the thing. Unfortunately, as some people might be saying, why don't you test these things? Well, it's difficult to test things when you don't have a lobby to test them with.
Yeah, and normally everything will load up fine. It's actually a really weird exception that you won't get into the lobby.
Exactly. But with 10 minutes left on the clock here, I can tell you that there's people going out for their second runs. Leo Lund is actually finishing his first run here in the RB, just coming around the final corner of Las Vegas to set what will be his first lap time on the board. It is a good enough time to send him to P5, splitting Gabriel Quintino and Conrad Bohm. We have a couple of reserves in today. Both McLarens and both Ferraris are reserving. Jerry Van Bussell and Conrad Bohm in 4th, 5th and 7th right now for the McLarens, and Lillian and Tudor in the Ferraris, currently sitting in 10th and 19th. But Tudor hasn't put a lap time on the board yet. Kean Gordondorp, on the other hand, who did his first lap on hard tyres, is currently finishing his next lap on hard tyres. He's getting some last-minute runs in.
Interesting call there from the drivers. You'll be pleased to know, ladies and gentlemen at home, we've verified the game files. We are launching F1 24 and we will be in the lobby in the next couple of moments. I deeply apologise for the colossal mess up on my end, but rest assured in the next 30 seconds or so we will be going into the lobby. We will see the rest of the qualifying action, and feel free to raise the pitchforks on Twitter and tag me if you do so.
Yeah, tag them at They Call Me TK on Twitter. Actually, no, tag at Mackie Sunday on Twitter and send all the complaints their way. Uh, but anyway, 9 minutes left in the session. To be honest with you, TK, you've missed the boring part of qualifying.
Exactly.
You missed the first few laps.
That's what I
You
say.
know,
The first few laps are boring. They're just the out laps. They're the easy runs for the majority of our drivers. Everything is about to lag. I apologise, folks. I'm opening a game.
F1 24 does enjoy its RAM when it boots, that's for sure. Takes a nice bite of your RAM stick.
Right, let's try and join in.
Okay, well, I can tell you with 8 minutes to go in the session, it's still Luca Rapassa on top with Benzoni and Jan in third place. Rapassa and Riccardo Benzoni are on flying laps as it stands. Well, that's a new a new man at the top of the timesheets. It's Sixten Linhart, the F3 champion from last year, who's then replaced by Tope, who tops the timesheets.
Why is Liam Stevens in a different lobby? That is what I'm concerned about.
Did you join off Liam Stevens?
I did. He's meant to be the lobby host, no?
He was until he disconnected on his first flying run.
And then he's gone to create another... I have no idea, because you're not appearing online now.
Yeah, that's probably... Yeah, I never appear online. Hang on, that's my... There you go. Last appeared online 5 days ago. I'm now online.
Much appreciated. Let's join your lobby instead, and let's get the people at home watching all of the action here in this qualifying session.
Well, I can tell you that it's still top A. Riccardo Benzoni did improve, but not enough to take provisional pole. The man who hasn't improved yet and is still in the pit is Angelo Detenzio. He's come back in because he's invalidated his second lap time. He will only have maybe 1 or 2 more attempts to get a respectable lap time on the board. Otherwise, he's starting at minimum 16th.
This could be an interesting one for himself. As you say, the streets of Las Vegas are rather unforgiving, especially when we're at this critical point in the season, because everybody is going to be going for those crucial points, aren't they?
Certainly will be. And with 7 minutes left on the clock, we can see Harvey Cohen here running down the Vegas Strip as TK is on his way, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. Do not fret. The man, the myth, the legend is here, and we have a switch screen.
We have the game.
Here we are. We have the game, and it's only taken us 14 minutes.
I deeply apologise, folks at home. It is not normally this unprofessional when we have an F2 broadcast. I'm blaming the break week. That is what I'm blaming.
Yeah, I'm blaming the break week as well. As Harvey Cohen's actually coming into the pit as I was watching his lap. So I think everyone's just finished their last, their flying lap, unfortunately, DK. So you've missed all the good ones. King Gordon back into the pits again. Interesting. Now, this is an interesting thing that you may not see before, as Jan retires as well. A lot of people retiring in the pits here, not going out to do their final laps of the session.
Are we expecting rain or something? Because Kian's retired, Liam's retired, obviously Liam earlier. Jan's crashed out, Rishan's crashed out. Are we missing something here?
I don't think so. Let's check the general chat.
I'll
quickly have a read.
I am seeing loads of messages. Oh, restart due to something. Interesting. Are we having qualifying restarted? I'm assuming we are. People are leaving.
People are leaving. A lobby restart has been called.
I don't know if people are adhering to the lobby restart. Folks, I have absolutely no idea what's going on at the moment.
It's chaos in here. It's chaos, ladies and gentlemen.
We got into the lobby, well, I got into the lobby about 3 minutes ago. Thanks for having to verify the integrity of my Steam files. We're now being told there's potentially a session restart, as everybody is kind of diving around and leaving the session. Connor said to restart. So apparently, Alex, we haven't missed any of quali.
Well, you know what? Hang on, Tigo. You know what we could do here?
What can we do here?
Why don't we go back to the intro?
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Play it again, and then people will think we've just started.
I that's a fantastic. Just pretend everyone's running late.
Right. Yeah. Everyone in chat. All right. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start the stream again, and you need to be just as excited and just as entertained when we start the stream properly. All right.
Right.
Everyone got that.
We'll go back to here first, whilst everything sorts itself out. Well, you can see our faces now. Whilst I get into Liam Stevens' lobby, because that's probably the more important thing.
So you're gonna see us disappear in a minute.
Yeah. Right.
And then when we come back, big smiles.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be starting again, all right?
Yeah. It'll be like 2 minutes in the starting screen. Pretend you saw nothing.
In audio. Morgan here and Jack Pinat. All the lights are currently lit here on track. And it is go, go, go! Donoso with a crafty manoeuvre up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Do not count out Danny Perez.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher
Win for the first time ever.
Lucas Blakely
Takes the championship.
It's Barry Borman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be in the world, and welcome back to PSGL. We've got 2 rounds remaining here in the F2 calendar. We head first to Las Vegas, under the lights, and why we find ourselves in Sin City. My name's Tom Knight, and alongside me today, Alex Heron to help call us through all of the action. Alex, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, mate. I'm glad to be here to be commentating on PSGL. We've had a break week, which is a bit weird in between. We had 2 break weeks back to back, basically. We had Japan last week. Chaos ensued around the Suzuka circuit, and now we head to the streets of Vegas, where anything can happen. And to be honest with you, with so little left in the championship and so how close it is everyone going to bet on red?
Well, I think that's going to be the question. Speaking of how things stand in our championship at the moment, Riccardo Benzoni tops our tower with 85 points to his name. Apologies. Angelo D'Attenzio just 1 point behind him with 84 on the board. And then Luca Rapassa, his Mercedes teammate, just 11 points behind him with 73. The rest of the field are narrowed out all the way down to, I think, Camille Stachara, who's the lowest ranked driver with any points scored this season. The Ferrari driver finds himself down in P25. A lot still on the table to try and take away tonight. And from what I understand, absolutely no one can take the championship away today, Alex.
Well, it can happen, but on a very rare circumstance. And the rare circumstance is that obviously the man who's in first place, I just have to remember what you wrote to me.
Riccardo Benzoni.
Riccardo Benzoni, there we go. We're prepared as always. Benzoni currently is the championship. Now, for Benzoni to win the title here tonight, he needs to have a clean sweep, or a grand slam, as it's known in Formula One. He needs pole position. He needs the fastest lap. And of course, he needs the race win. That'll be the only way he can win the championship tonight. Any other way is not possible. It goes to Bahrain. Now, TK, there's also, somehow, this is crazy, what happens if we go to the final race and there's a certain other thing that happens?
Well, you'll have to stick with me here, folks, whilst we explain it. So, if Riccardo Benzoni tonight scores 17 out of the possible 18 points that are available, Angelo D'Attenzio DNFs from tonight's race. We then head to our final race, Bahrain, next week, with a gap of exactly 18 points. Now, if you remember from last time out, or this time, that is the maximum number of points you can score on a race weekend. If Angelo then turns around and does a grand slam next week, with Riccardo Benzoni DNFing from the race, the countback goes back not on points, not on race wins, not on second places, all the way back to third place finishes, where Angelo has got 1 to his name in the very first round.
Which means Benzoni would win the title with no points advantage.
It would indeed. It would be won by a podium, and the worst position on the podium at that.
I thought it goes to fastest laps first, does it not?
I don't know. I haven't read the rule book. I was trying to guess.
Well, anyway, but here we are. TK, I want to. Well, now we're here. You might as well get the game on screen, my friend, because we can see the first lap of qualifying. But let's look at the track map first.
Let's do that indeed. 17 turns, 3.8 miles is what makes up this Las Vegas street circuit. A beautiful track that in no way, shape or form resembles an upside down pig, according to a few of our co-commentators.
It certainly doesn't. But here we are, we're on the streets of Las Vegas, and then we're in my favourite camera screen. It is 2Cam Plus Game, which is a fantastic screen indeed. But it is looking good, ladies and gentlemen. 16 minutes on the clock. And it is nice to see Vegas for the first time tonight, TK.
Certainly is indeed. We've had nothing before. Apologies for the half an hour run into this show. Who would have thought
Yeah, I know.
that stuff had happened at PSGL? But we have got Top 8 leading out our pack. We've got almost everyone out on track at the moment, with the exception of Lillian down in P16. But let's go on to full screen. Let's go under the lights in Las Vegas for the first of qualifying runs tonight.
They certainly are, and Top 8 runs into the first corner and holding it for this really long left-hander. You've got to just feather the throttle, don't lose the rear end too much, and then getting the power down for this back straight. DRS wide open before we head down one of the long straights of Vegas. And then it is basically a 90-degree right-hander. It is a sharp corner, and you've got to slow it down nice and early to make the corner. And then a very, very awkward left-hander. It is very awkward indeed, because you can get it wrong, you can lock up, and then switch it back to the right, and then switch it back to the left before heading on to another straight, which does start to curve to the right-hand side, but you don't keep your foot off the throttle. You keep going until you hit a braking zone in mid-corner, which you've got to get right, because otherwise you're going to go crashing into the wall on the right. But now it is one long straight. It is the strip. We are racing down the Vegas Strip. DRS will open just before the end of the straight, and it will open right now as they come down the straight, hitting the max speed a Formula 1 car can possibly hit before one final major braking zone. It is a tight corner, and it's a very big slide from Top 8 before carrying on into the final straight of the lap. Swinging it around the left-hander, a very, very curious final corner. Will Top 8 set the fastest lap? Of course they will. It will be a 29.7. It is a good banker lap. A lot of people coming to the pits on their banker.
They are indeed early and validated laps. Liam Stevens setting the fastest run so far. Rishan Jacobs just behind himself. Conrad Bohm out of absolutely nowhere with a 1:29.225. The reservist setting the pace for every other driver here this afternoon for Team McLaren. And look at how many people have either gone into the pits or invalidated on their first runs. A lot of drivers deciding that Las Vegas is getting the better of them.
They certainly are, not enjoying it. The only one out there, TK, that's not on the soft tyres is Mr. Keane Gordondorp. He's running the hard tyres. Now, the only reason you'd run the hard tyres around a circuit like this is if you want to save a set of softs. But of course, we have a lobby restart, let's not forget. So I reckon Keane's just doing some last-minute practice, getting an idea of how the hards feel around the circuit, so they're more prepared for race day.
I think that's a very solid shout. I mean, just get some laps in, get some practice on the harder tyre, which we are pretty much expecting to see without exception over the course of this race weekend. And as you said, the lobby restart's still in mandatory effect here in season 38. So lots of drivers will have, well, essentially have all their tyres handed back to them come race day.
Yeah, which will be very helpful for some drivers. I know some people like the sales strategy, and hopefully come, season 40, we'll be able to see the no lobby restart, which will be really nice for everyone. But of course, we've got another 2 seasons to go, and of course we've got the final 2 rounds of this season as well. We were talking maybe just before we went on stream, TK, about top performers this season.
We certainly were indeed, and you know, it's one of those things that there may be drivers at the top of the championship, there may be drivers that have won race after race, but when we look at the standout performances, I have to put Leo Lund up there.
Yeah, I mean, Leo's done fantastically well this season, even though he's... Oh, no, he is their 14th place. I was like, he's not here on the grid. That was a bit weird to say, but no, he is here. But, I mean, someone that I think we should point out, he hasn't had the best results, but, of course, he was F3 champion last year with Sixten Lindhart. He's may not have had the results to back up, but performance-wise, he's always been there or thereabouts.
Yeah, certainly in that case, it's fascinating to see how our drivers have kind of handled the adversity not only of the grid and the challenges they find on there, but I'm gonna throw out there the game as well in many aspects.
Yeah. It's not always the easiest thing, is it? It's not always the easiest thing. But in terms of people doing laps, we still got quite a few on the board that have not done a lap, including our championship contender.
Yeah, it just started actually cutting the timing beam, so he's about to start on their first, well, hopefully first times lap that will appear on the board. A lot of drivers all the way down from P16 down to 19 yet to register a valid lap.
Well, both of our championship contenders, Riccardo Benzoni and Angelo D'Asensio, have yet to put a commendable or an actual lap time on the board. And right now, a very mixed up top 10.
Certainly is. It's really not what we're expecting.
Riccardo's
to see.
invalidated.
He has through the second sector. Really easy to invalidate as you're heading over the twists and the turns there. If you just catch a curb wrong, that's your entire lap time gone. And with just over 10 minutes to go, the time is becoming more and more of a concern.
Yeah, it certainly is. And the man who, obviously, Benzoni, does not want to be under any major pressure. But as it stands, TK, unless he puts in a miracle lap time, the championship won't be wrapped up here tonight.
Exactly. I think it's going to be impressive. He has to secure pole position if he wants to take the championship here this evening. And at the moment, Riccardo Benzoni certainly not on track to try and pull off that miracle.
Certainly not. Jerry Van Bussel is just coming through the final sector, along with our F3 champion, is Sixten Linhart. He's going to cross the line. Where's he going to put his car? Only the top 10 just. Jerry Van Bussel only goes 11th fastest. There's a couple of drivers, should be a bit further up here, but they are not. And of course, Angelo has only just started his flying lap.
Yeah, indeed that. I mean, Angelo's not even on his flying lap yet. He just crosses the beam now with 10 minutes to go. And, you know, there's a lot of drivers out here that you'd expect to have at least set lap times by now. I appreciate they've had a lot of practice. I mean, they even had a practice qualifying session earlier, how dedicated our drivers have been. They've already done this once, and yet now they have to go again.
Yeah, so of course that practice qualifying session wasn't streamed, unfortunately. But I heard from people it was a good test session.
Yeah, I heard some good ones. What were the kind of results of that practice qualifying? What are we expecting to see differ here?
Benzoni was up in the top 2 in the practice qualifying session, and I think we had Tope in pole position, and they're currently sitting 14th and 18th.
Certainly are. A real mix of what we saw, well, allegedly saw earlier, of course. There's no video proof of that, unfortunately. But as it stands, Comrade proving why reservists can quite often come in and disrupt the party.
They certainly can, and I mean, it's going to disrupt quite the party that I'm sure Benzoni had planned in Vegas. He's on an outlap now as well. But Angelo, he's coming around the final sector now. He's got to put in a lap time. He's got to outqualify his championship rival. Because, of course, being second in the championship, you want to score more points than the man in first in the championship. That makes sense. That's a bit of a Will Buxton for you. As Angelo crosses the line, puts him third fastest. It's a cracking lap there from Angelo. Does it under pressure as Tope goes fourth fastest.
He does indeed. Fantastic recovery drive from the Williams, trying to position himself closer to the front of that grid. And that's exactly what they'd want to be seeing everybody else. Of course, still on their way to setting lap times. Both Red Bulls out as we speak. King Gordon up, still on the hard tyre. Interestingly enough here, Alex, he's invalidated runs, but he's stuck with the hard tyres.
I think he's just getting some laps in, TK. He may think he's just got one good flying lap in him. Or maybe he's got a strategy in mind.
You never know. I think a lot of the times these drivers know something that we quite possibly don't.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how much more they know than us, as Benzoni needs to get this lap time on the board, because he may have time for another lap, TK, but it will be cutting it a bit close.
Certainly will be indeed. 7 minutes and 35 seconds on the clock as Benzoni crosses the timing beam to start what could be his first timed lap that counts as recorded. He's got a lot to do if he wants to try and take the championship home tonight, and that includes a mandatory pole position if he's at any hope of securing it.
Certainly does. Going into the 90-degree right-hander, we're going to have a look at his first sector time as he just taps that wall on the left-hand side. 25.5 in the first sector. No purple timings coming up for us. as we're going to go into the sector where he has invalidated a few times. Doesn't on this occasion. So right now he's got a clean run to the line. There's only probably one more place you can really invalidate on this lap.
Yeah, I mean, you've got one or two opportunities. This the left-hander as we approach up here, quite easy to jump the curb on the left, but even in towards sector 3 after that long chicane, after the long straight, easy to hop across that mini chicane and invalidate your run there. So Benzoni's still got his work cut out. He's still got an opportunity to throw this lap away. But as you said earlier, no purple sectors, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Quite often we will see a consistent lap being quicker than a purple sector lap.
Yeah, we certainly will, as Benzoni goes into the sector where you can invalidate, but he does it beautifully, just cutting that enough to not cause an invalidation. One final corner to go. Benzoni needs to get close to his championship rival of Angelo D'Asensio. Can he get anywhere close to him? He can only go 7th.
That's unfortunate for Riccardo Benzoni. He's not wanting to be this far out of the top 2 at the moment. I mean, it looks like he's far away, but realistically, he only needs, what's that, just over 2/10 to edge his way towards pole position. Lillian jumps their way up to P3 earlier. Sergio Sobrino held P3 in the Kick Sauber, and everybody else starting to find time here in Vegas.
They certainly are, with 5 minutes 30 left on the clock. It is still anyone's game for pole, and there is not a massive gap between the entire field. We have a quick look at the details here of that. The gap between 18th and 1st is 0.6 of a second. The gap between the top 7 is 1/10 of a second.
Certainly is indeed incredibly close amongst our field at the moment. And as you said, yeah, less than a second separating the top 18 here over the course of this session. Kian Gordendorp, of course, out of that contention. He's still running on the harder tyre, so don't expect him to come into that grid or into that contention until probably later on in this quality, probably with only a couple of minutes to go.
Well, with 4 minutes 50, he's just finishing another flying lap on the hards. He's still improving on his lap times, very much doing long runs at the moment, I'd say, in qualifying, which is rare to see, but it can be seen.
Certainly can be. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they can convert that into race pace or race consistency. Is probably the better way of looking at it, but at the moment, all it's screaming to everybody else on this grid is that Kian hasn't had enough practice in the weeks leading up to this.
Certainly hasn't, as Nelson Alves goes to 12th fastest, can't get themselves into the top 10. The Williams duo have really not been able to perform for a long time, and we don't know exactly what's happened there, but they've just been off of it, haven't they, in the last few races?
They really have. I mean, if you look at the start of the season, they were the 2 drivers to try and compete with and the 2 drivers to beat. But in recent weeks and weeks gone by, especially leading up to our festive break, they just haven't been the same drivers behind the wheel.
I say, you know what, since Zandvoort, I don't think they've been the same.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right.
It's just, don't know what has been happening, but maybe the circuits haven't suited them, but it's just been there or thereabouts for a few of these drivers. But anyway, we are now with the last few minutes qualifying. Get your predictions down in the Twitch and the YouTube chat to tell us who is your prediction for pole position. Is it going to be Angelo? Is it going to be Conrad? Is it going to be Riccardo Benzoni? And is it going to be any of your other favourites? Please let us know in chat to find out what's going to be happening.
Indeed, still all to play for a lot of our drivers. 3 minutes on the clock here. Ignore what it says in the top left. It's not a Q1, Q2, Q3 session. It's just your standard short qualifying session.
So Angelo came out and was doing a lap, but he decided to pull into the pits to get a new set of tyres. He was improving on a lap, but he wants to get that last final run in.
Indeed he does. And the one that actually I really want to keep an eye on here is Kian Gordendorp. He's still, I believe, on the harder tyre, but he is going quicker with every single lap. But surely, I mean, at the moment, he hasn't got time to come in for a fresh set of stuffs, right?
No, I think this is going to be, he's not going to do any soft running.
It's an interesting strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I think he's starting on the hards and going the entire distance. Maybe he's banking on a safety car.
I think quite potentially banking on a safety car. Who knows what's going to happen in this race? I mean, starting from the back isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's one of those things that can come around to you if there's a big crash or, like you say, a safety car. he'd already be thrown into the mix. But, I mean, starting P19 in a grid like this, surely there's some level of insanity there.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity? Well, I think Ian's going to find it out at the end of this race. But yeah, surely he's not going to come into the pits. Oh, he is coming to the pits, which I'm sure he's going to retire because he's not got time to do a lap.
No, not enough time to switch tyres by any means. So yeah, this is Keegan Gordon obviously curing P19. Yoda's asking, did P1 go by a different name before this? I don't know. You're welcome.
I don't think so. I don't believe so.
Comrade Bohm. I don't know. I can
recognise
find
the
out
name
for you, but not that I know. Daniel's retired in the pit lane.
So his qualifying session is over as well. And everyone else is on outlaps, keeping an eye on our championship contenders. Angelo just going through the second sector now, and for Riccardo Benzoni, it's coming down the Las Vegas Strip right now. There's a couple of drivers on their laps, including the man in second place, Liam Stevens, because there is still a fight for pole position between a lot of close drivers, and maybe not the ones you'd expect.
Yeah, exactly that. It's been thrown on its head rather dramatically in the last, well, let's say last 18 minutes, if you know, you know. But Liam Stevens still in a shot here for pole position. Needs to find 74 thousandths of a second if he wishes to try and best out Comrade. And did he just take out some bollard there? What went flying?
I don't know, maybe a bit of piece of his car, but he's a 10th down in that middle sector. He was so close to going smashing into the wall on the right-hand side. I assume we're going to see some incidents there later on in the race as we head down the Las Vegas Strip. Going to need to use all of that Renault power engine as we reach the breaking point as Liam Stevens goes through the chicane. He knows he's got to cut it as much as he can. He's got to get the absolute most out of this car. And is he going to go to the left-hand side? Can he possibly get himself onto provisional pole? He can't. He misses out on provisional pole. It's now everyone behind. Chance to catch up and possibly take pole position away. Nelson Alves can't. He invalidated his lap. What about the drivers who are battling for the championship?
Well, next up, Sixten Lundtart in the Alpine. As you said, the Aston Martin of Jan invalidated. Sixten will be the next driver across the line. Behind them, I believe one of the V-Cubs will keep you updated as they come across the line. Leo Lund will follow through Sixten. Sixten can't improve. Leo Lund can't improve also. Next behind him, the other Aston Martin of Rashan Jacobs, P6 for the Silverstone base team. The Williams behind of Toppe can't go quicker. The McLaren of Jerry Van Bossel, to my assumption. No, the other McLaren. Conrad in towards the pit lane and retires.
The next two drivers, one will be a Sauber, the other will be the Haas of Riccardo Benzoni. Can he get pole position? He can only get 10th. He can only get 10th, which means the championship will go to the final round. But will it go with a massive favour for Angelo D'Asensio? He's got one set of corners to go. Rapassa puts it on the front row. What a lap from him. That's one Mercedes. Gabriel Quintino replaces him. Can Angelo D'Asensio take pole? No, he can't. He can only take the front row, which means the Ferraris are next. Villian can only go fourth. But for Comrade Bohm, it is a pole position he'll never forget. The McLaren is on pole in Vegas.
Wow, what a qualifying we have just seen. That had it all. And for a moment, I thought someone was going to be able to best out Comrade Bohm, but the McLaren stands tall by 7 thousandths of a second above Angelo D'Asensio, who's managed to get some inroads to the championship fight. He starts P7 ahead of his championship contender, who's all the way down in P12. There's a big fight here for Riccardo Benzoni if he wants to try and hold on to the championship. But Alex, this is going to be a fascinating race.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fascinating indeed. 2/10 was the gap. That is a massive gap between Riccardo Benzoni and, well, a man that just jumped in straight away after. We weren't expecting that from the McLaren driver. But, of course, we now have the fabled lobby restart. But before that, we obviously have our normal segment where, you know, I'll sell that. I'll try and tell people that there's someone that sponsors us. TK will switch over to the thing. But with, you know, two rounds to go, TK.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not blaming you, right?
No. I press it every time at the right time. I'm blaming OBS.
I think it's an OBS problem.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're going to try again, and hopefully you guys can hear what I'm saying. So, of course, PSGL, as always, is sponsored by...
How bizarre! I swear every time I press it after you've announced it, but
well, hopefully you guys heard that about this. I don't want to say the name now, just in case it sends it to another one. But we're very thankful that they are here with us once again. But of course, now we have our fated lobby restart before we get going. And yeah, the championship fight has been blown wide open. Let's have a quick look at our standings while we wait for the drivers to retire. And here is the standings. Riccardo Benzoni could have secured the championship today, but he needed pole position, so that is off the table. No championship can be decided here tonight. Las Vegas, a point separates the two drivers.
Certainly does.
Angelo could have got pole and put himself on equal points, but he missed out by 7,000ths of a second. He starts second. Riccardo Benzoni starts 12th in this. Now, don't forget, TK, there's still technically a chance of some other drivers being in this. Well, one other driver being in this.
Absolutely right. I mean, Luca Rapassa's still in with the shot. I mean, everybody else behind, probably not so much, with Jan 29 points out the fight, more than is physically possible, unfortunately. I believe. I know it's possible over 2 rounds, but very, very unlikely, shall we say. But there's a high possibility here that Riccardo Benzoni and Angelo Tortenzio could head into the final round equal on points here, Alex.
They certainly could be. I'm very much looking forward to these. The last 2 seasons that me and TK have commentated, we've had banging championship fights. I mean, last year we had a 4-way fight for the F3 title. Unfortunately, simmered out a bit in Brazil, as tends to be tradition. But it was brilliant up to that point. And I mean, this year it has been a great fight between, you got to say, the 2 best drivers in the division this year.
Oh, very much so. It's been a fantastic fight all the way through the season. I think, would things be different if Riccardo Benzoni had arrived in Australia and actually raced? Who knows? Finished the race in Australia. That DNF to his name, I think, could go down as a rather ugly mark on his record for the season. But that is a lot of speculation to head in towards the final couple of rounds. We head to Las Vegas tonight. We head to Bahrain, which has been the season opener for the last 3 or 4 years in real life Formula 1. And that will be the venue for our championship decider here in PCF2.
It will be certainly interesting indeed. And where can the drivers find their time and where can they find their pace? I've got myself back into the lobby, but it still says race result. Are we still ending
we're
on
still the race result, don't worry there, because they've only just retired from the sessions.
Of course they have. Yes, of course they have.
I just want to talk to you quickly about the issues we've been having with GT Omega. Because I was expecting it to switch to an ad there, Alex.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why I didn't do it. That's weird. That's strange.
How come I can say GT Omega?
But if I don't want to say it because it might switch.
Yeah. It's a worry, isn't it?
It's a worry. It's strange. It's like I have magic powers.
It really is. It's a scary thought there, Alex.
It is.
I mean, we can try it and see if it's just a start of stream thing.
It might be. I don't want to whisper it. It might just switch it.
I think we try it. We've got nothing to lose. We got a few minutes, haven't we?
All right. Okay. Right. GTO.
Sorry, I had to manually cancel that one because
that's weird.
Yeah, that is really bizarre.
That's spooky.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the racing. Let's go
back to the racing.
At our calendar, which technically is slightly incorrect. We are missing our week break that we had in between Japan and Las Vegas. But of course, as it stands, to finish off season 38, we have got Las Vegas, we have got Bahrain, as we've been saying over the course of today's race. Our drivers have travelled the globe from Australia to Texas, to Belgium, Canada, Qatar, Monaco, Britain. We headed to the Netherlands, then Saudi Arabia, We saw ourselves in Japan 2 weeks ago. We're in the USA once again tonight. Our drivers will finish off with one last hurrah at the Kingdom of Bahrain. Alex, I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm excited. I always am for PSGL and always for F2, of course, with only, well, this season, of course, and season 39 left of F1 24. Let's make the most of this and have a fantastic penultimate round of season 38, because this is going to be one to watch. With the two drivers that have been best this season, the championship can't be decided tonight, but it can certainly be in the favour of someone.
Certainly can. It has to go the way of the fastest driver, and that is still to be determined here in PCF. Let us know who you're rooting for in the live chat below, whether that is on Twitch or whether that is on YouTube. Let us know who you think is going to be standing on the top of that podium at the end of 25 laps in Vegas. And I can see a few drivers praying for rain.
Well, it isn't impossible around here in Vegas. Yes, it may be in a desert, but it's a very strange climate over in America, so it can change quite dramatically. We haven't seen... Did we see rain in real life recently around Vegas? Or am I misremembering?
I think you're misremembering potentially another online race.
Yes, that's a
We
very
saw it in Creator
possibility.
Series.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. I remember now. Yeah, I had my Creator Series debut the other week.
You did.
Lasted 4 laps.
I also saw that. We head into the race this afternoon. There was something I was going to say. Oh, I've got some trivia for everybody at home, but it's a bit of fun fact. It was when you were saying your desert little bit of spiel. Obviously, we all know Las Vegas is situated in the desert. Can anybody tell me what's the largest desert in the world? And
The Gobi
I'll give you a
Desert.
little hint. It's not what you think it is.
Is it not the Gobi Desert?
It's not the Gobi Desert.
That is a massive desert, though.
It is a massive desert.
No, I know what it is.
What is it?
It's Antarctica.
Technically, no.
Doesn't it count as a desert, though?
No, because you're on the wrong end of the world.
I thought it counted as like a frozen desert.
It does, but not the Antarctic.
Oh, the North Pole.
I think it is the Arctic Desert, yes.
The Arctic Desert, yes.
I believe. I might be wrong on that, but it is one of them that is the largest desert in the world. It might be a snow desert, but legally it's a desert.
It is legally a desert. That's a trick question.
It's not. It's just a fun bit of trivia. You're saying I'm tricking our people at home, Alex?
We would never do that.
I'd never do that. But let's go ahead to your favourite screen that possibly exists.
It's 2 Plus game, ladies and gentlemen. Which TK, I think to this day, regrets making.
I do. I regret calling it that.
If you hadn't have named it that, it wouldn't have become a thing.
I think it still would have become... Actually, no, it wouldn't. It's
No,
all
it
on
wouldn't,
me
because you
here.
wouldn't have. Yeah, it's all on you. But we are getting ready for our lights out, and away we go. No rain by the looks of it, which means we will have a dry circuit for the time being. I can't see any wet tyres in the pit lane either. You can see the MGM Grand Hotel there in the background. It is a stunning place to have a Formula One race.
It certainly is, and it's one of those that it may not be a default circuit for it. It may be a street circuit, and yes, we kind of look down on them ever so slightly. But at the end of the day, it's all about the cars that line up as they do here for the penultimate round of PCF2. The lights go out and we go racing in Las Vegas. And it's a good pull away for Conrad and Angelo. Angelo has the inside line towards turn number 1, but Conrad in the McLaren swooping round the outside, holds his position. Gabriel Quintino immediately on the attack here on the Mercedes as we head into the first few corners here. Luca Rapata, Angelo's teammate, will look to assist them as they run in towards the second sector. But at the moment, the McLaren dominating. 3 wide we could be. In towards the third corner. Right-hand turn we go. Luca Rapata down the inside of Gabriel Quintino, holding the position now. They're side by side as we run through the elongated left-hander. The Mercedes push to the outside line. There's contact between the two of them. Gabriel Quintino has to cede the position, and now Lillian on the attack of the Red Bull racing car.
And Gabriel Quintino had to see that position. He was pushed wide by Luca Rapassa. He had no choice whatsoever. There is top eight going round the outside of Liam Stevens. And he's now going to turn into the inside line for the next corner. And he makes it stick. Of course he does. What a fantastic move that is. And for our race lead, it may already be changing hands as Conrad is going to get absolutely taken apart down this back straight as Angelo D'Asensio takes the lead of the Las Vegas Grand Prix with his championship rival down in 11th. It's a good start for the championship challenger.
It couldn't be a better start here for Andrea D'Ortenzio. Riccardo Benzoni does make up a move further back, gets past the Aston Martin of Jan as he tries to put the pressure on Sergio Sabrino, already looking to make P9 his next position. But as he said, Andrea D'Ortenzio, who won the drag race down that back straight, now leads a Grand Prix as we cross the checkered flag. Sorry, as we cross the timing beam rather. He set the fastest lap of the race. DRS becomes enabled, and now we have a race on our hands, folks.
And Luca Rapassa is going to fire around the outside of Conrad Bohm, who's gone from first to third in a matter of corners. He certainly has. He is now down to third place. Tope is past Lillian as well as we go into the 90-degree right-hander. And it's now a Mercedes 1-2. But the Mercedes, I'm pretty sure they touched on that opening lap, TK.
I think they did. There was certainly a banging of wheels between the two teammates. No love lost between Angelo and Luca. Riccardo Benzoni making up moves hand over fist further back in the pack. Let's have a look at what tyres all of our drivers started on. It's a real mix of the mediums and the hards. Nobody choosing the softs in the opening stint here in Las Vegas. Nobody has decided to go all out on red.
It certainly is not the choice. They seem to all have gone out on yellow or white, which isn't even a place you can put them on the on your old poker table. But Riccardo Benzoni trying to close down here, but he's a little bit further behind. DRS has now been enabled, but it becomes a bit of a DRS train. Now, Rishan Jacobs is in front of him as the two Mercedes, I say, swap places. Is McLaren going to get in front of him as well? No, he's going to stay behind just for now. But Benzoni kind of in a DRS train at the moment, but Rishan Jacobs isn't going to yield this, because if he's still got a thought of winning the championship, he's got to move through the gears, and he's already passed Liam Stevens here.
He does indeed. I mean, it's an interesting battle all throughout the field as things stand. Luca Rapassa, of course, now in the lead, setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Everybody is set out to try and make moves early, but when we're stuck in a DRS train like we find ourselves in at the moment, maybe you catch yourself maybe going for that eager move down the inside a little bit late on the brakes, and that's where not only we see the moves, but we start to see a little bit of carnage creeping in as well. We see drivers maybe relax into their positions, not look in their mirrors as much, and at a track like Vegas where the walls come so thick and fast at you, you quite often find yourself in a race-ending accident.
Interesting that both championship contenders have, the three championship contenders all running the medium tyres. Mercedes not splitting their strategy, one going with mediums or hards, but they've both gone mediums along with Benzoni. So they're going to go medium hard, and the rest of the drivers are going to go hard medium, I assume, unless, of course, we get a safety car.
Now, I don't want to scream collusion here amongst everybody in the chats, but I would remind everybody that all our championship contenders are under the same academy. So I'm not putting anything into people's minds, as Andrea D'Ortenzio does get past Luca Rapassa here with the assistance of DRS. But obviously they're all flying under the VA banner, which could explain why they're using very similar tyre strategies, as Conrad now goes down the inside, Luca Rapassa in towards the penultimate few corners, and the McLaren trying to disrupt VA's party. Yeah,
they certainly are, because there's another VA in behind in Gabriel Quintino, who might think about getting himself up into that top three, or will he? Because look who's coming to arrive in the party. It's Tope, who we were talking about earlier as one that's really missed out this season, but he's just forced his way past Luca Rapassa. A very aggressive move, has found himself in the top three. It might find him in the top two.
We have seen that before from Tope. Can be a very aggressive driver on his day. Sometimes there's no love lost between himself and fellow contestants, but placing that Williams in a place you quite often don't see Williams go. And Tope is trying to get himself not only onto the podium, but into the lead of this Grand Prix. Lillian trying to challenge Gabriel Quintino as well for P5 on track, trying to swoop one around the outside, but the harder tyres just having to pay the piper in terms of grip on the track.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they're certainly a little bit still slippery here on lap 4. But we're already on lap 4, TK is flying past this Vegas Grand Prix. It's a fast-flowing circuit here, and we kind of expect it to be over in a matter of minutes. But of course, we're on, lap 4 of 25. Oh, as Gabriel Quintino has had a collision with the wall, and it's forced him to lose a position to Lillian, but no damage by the looks of it on the Red Bull car.
Doesn't look like it at the moment. Gabriel Quintino won't be happy about losing the position there. Lillian will be ecstatic about getting essentially a free position. Rashan Jacobs will look to do a similar move down the inside. Conrad, though, taking away the race lead from Angelo D'Ortenzio. Tope following him through the Mercedes cars. The ones around at the front of this field relegated to P3 and P4 on track. That's not going to be a happy bunny inside of either of those cars.
They don't need that at all. Angelo doesn't need anyone messing up an opportunity to gain valuable points going into Bahrain, a circuit that of course isn't the easiest as well in terms of track position and overtaking with those DRS zones too. This is a massive opportunity for Angelo. He can't afford to lose out to two drivers that, let's be honest, don't have any business being in the top two for Angelo's point of view.
Well, exactly at the moment, and don't forget the tyre differential. Conrad started on the hard tyres, proving there's minimal difference between the two sets. The two compounds that we're running here in Vegas this afternoon could explain why nobody has banked the softs or risked the softs in this opening stint, when the hards and the mediums, the yellow and the whites, are so equally balanced on grip and pace.
Well, they certainly seem to be, but we've seen that so much this season. We expected that to happen, and it's going to be interesting to see how the alternate strategy does work, because I think the hard to medium is the alternate strategy compared to the medium to hard. But we know the hard tyres just go so long in this year's game. They go so long as Jan gets in front of Liam Stevens. That's another move for an Aston Martin driver. They're having a good weekend so far, as it looks like Conrad is going to be under pressure from not only Angelo, but Tope as well. And Angelo will take the lead as long... Well, Luca Rapassa takes third as well. It is a four-wide battle going up here for the top spot, because Conrad's going to get involved again. Tope has gone round the outside. Don't go three wide into the final corner, lads. It will never work. There's Lillian. It's crazy. It's carnage. It's going to be an absolute catastrophe if they all make it through. But somehow they're all still facing the right direction. There is almost 7 cars going side by side here as we go through the first sector. But Angelo is still leading them. But for how much longer? Because DRS is enabled. They're going to be under serious pressure. But there's not enough room to overtake, especially for a couple of these drivers. But Tope might get past Luca Rapassa. They're still wheel to wheel through this sector, but Luca surely has to back out on this occasion, or will he dive back up the inside? No, he backs out. But TK, that was ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous in that battle. Everybody giving fair racing room, though. That is exactly what we love to see. But the more important thing here, Alex, is look at how close the grid is on that track map. Nobody has fallen out of this pack yet. Everybody's still within contention. There's a slight gap between King, Gordon, Doppen, 6th and Lintar, down between 16th and 15th place. But everybody else, well within DRS range, well within a shot at the podium. Should we see something like we saw at F1 Sim Racing a few days ago, when we had that massive collision in Saudi Arabia?
We had a massive collision indeed, and it caused a lot of problems up and down the grid. But could we see something similar, as you said? But Angelo kind of pulled a gap there, down the main straight, TK, almost about 5-6 tenths of a second, which is enough to keep back anyone with DRS.
It is indeed. It's a fantastic opportunity, and I wonder if we'll see Angelo and Luca start to work together here. The Mercedes teammates could be beneficial to one another. Luca Rapassa could act as the stalking horse to allow Angelo D'Ortenzio to try and pull away. But the question will be, are they going to play the team game? Are they going to try and work together? Or is Luca Rapassa not having any of the team orders and wants to go for the win himself here?
Well, if you're Luca Rapassa and you have a slight thought in the back of your head that, you know, I can still win this championship, you would, wouldn't you? You'd have to go for it. Even though Angelo has the best chance out of the two Mercedes, it's not out of Luca's hands. Ricardo Benzoni, on the other hand, is trying to defend, I think, from Leo Lund here, as Leo is in 9th place, Ricardo Benzoni in 8th. Oh, as Jan dives on the inside of Leo. Leo's going to have to do a good job defending that. He's going to force Jan out wide, but there's not really a lot else they can do because the inside line turns to the outside for Leo, but he somehow holds it together and he's back in 9th place.
Is indeed. Fantastic job there to hold the side-by-side action and actually hold the position as well. Not only did he switch from defence to attack in a matter of milliseconds, he's done both with expert precision here in Las Vegas. But we enter this back straight down towards the third sector. We've seen overtakes happen here before. I think this time around, Luca Rapassa is just that much closer to his teammate.
Certainly is. We're going to get another 3-wide moment, or we're going to get a 4-wide moment down the straight, and somehow Lillian is going to take the lead, but Tope fights it around the outside. They still go wheel to wheel, but Lillian takes the lead of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. It's chaos ensuing here at Vegas. Gabriel Quintino, I think, is in the pit lane, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's Leo Lund in the pits. And Gabriel Quintino, oh, it's 4 wide. This has all gone madness into the first corner. And somehow Angelo's found his way on the inside. They're 3 wide through this sector. Oh, Tope's always lost it. Front wings flying everywhere. I think that was Luca Rapassa's front wings gone on.
Yeah, I'm trying to confirm for you there. Luca Rapassa, I think, is missing front left-hand plate on that Mercedes, but it's not stopping him on his title charge as he tries to dive down the inside on Conrad Bone. What is going on in this Las Vegas Grand Prix? Everybody has put all their chips on red. They're rolling the dice multiple times in this circuit, and I don't quite know whose number is coming up on top.
Rishan Jacobs has found himself in second place. I'm pretty sure he was 8th for that on that end of that lap. As he found himself in second, that was madness into that first corner. They went out 4-5 wide. In the meantime, TK, we had a lot of medium runners into the pit. We had Gabriel Quintino, Riccardo Benzoni, and Leo Lund all in for hard tyres.
Interesting pit there, looking potentially for the undercut. They've gone very early in this sim. We've seen it before from the VA drivers that they'll dive into the pits early, they'll go for that undercut and basically work the grid as we head through the closing laps of this Grand Prix. I wonder how it's going to pay off for them.
It's going to be really interesting to see. This is just spicing up, ladies and gentlemen. Do not go anywhere. It is anyone's game right now. Going to keep an eye on the other medium runners. Angelo, Tope, and Luca Rapassa stays out. He does not want to double stack with his teammate. So Angelo is in. He does not want to get himself a penalty. He does not. Keep an eye on Angelo. Keep an eye on Riccardo Benzoni. This is crucial pit stops now for the Mercedes crew.
Crucial pit stops, but the battle at the front still continues. Nelson Alves now, the latest contender that's trying to go wheel to wheel. Luca Rapassa, Jan Halajek getting involved as well. The other Aston Martin, who's come out of absolutely nowhere, pulls himself up to P4. Nelson Alves will have to set off P6. There's more damage going everywhere else. I think that was Luca Rapassa, or even Sixten Luntart losing more front wing. The Alpine losing a front right end plate here. There's battling going on. There's shoving. No one's leaving enough for him. Sixten and Luca going side by side here. Derry Van Bossel getting involved as well in the McLaren car as we head in towards the second sector. That was incredible fighting amongst our middle ground runners, and nobody wanted to give an ounce of space to each other.
They're enjoying it. They do not want to let anyone through at the moment. And to give you an update at the back of the grid, the pit stoppers, Angelo did come out in front of Riccardo Benzoni, only just, but he is in front of him, and that is so important for the championship fight. But turning back to the battle at the front, Sergio Sabrino is going to get past Luca Rapassa. Jerry Van Brussel is going to go past Sixten Lindhart, and then we're going to see another triple-double overtake because Sergio Sabrino might find the gap. He can't pull in front of the Alpine because there's not enough room, and Rapassa has to stick behind. Surely Luca is in the pits on this lap, and he has to maybe even think about a new front wing.
I think you'd be right. Maybe Sixten Luntart as well would look for a front wing change. Richard Jacobs, I'm fairly certain, will dive into the pit lane here. No, it was just a switch with his teammate in terms down that start-finish straight. So both Aston Martins staying out on the harder tyre. Lillian now leads the Grand Prix. He's been a rather a quiet force through the course of this opening stages. Richard Jacobs, 900ths of a second behind Conrad, behind Jan. This front 5 pack with Nelson Alves now involved in it have started to make a breakaway with 2.5 seconds effectively back to the other McLaren of Jerry Van Bossel.
They certainly do. That little battle that we watched in the midfield has caused a big gap to appear between the drivers, especially in a track so reliant on DRS. It's going to be really interesting to see that happens. But the two Astons, TK, the TES drivers, have been really impressive in this race.
They certainly have. They've been driving very, very smart. Of course, their teammate Conrad, the other TES driver, amongst in with them in P3 as things stand. So they've got that advantage with them. They can just stick with their essentially their esports team here and kind of work amongst one another. They've still got to try and bear in mind that they've got the drivers that have pitted early all the way down to P14. But if you look on that track map, they're starting to make ground back here.
And they are. And Jan has taken the lead of the Las Vegas Grand Prix, and Aston Martin leading a race. Well, I never, but Jan is looking very good indeed. Oh, Sixten, little bit of a sideways shake-up as it looks like Daniel trying to go around the outside of Mr. Keaton Gordondorp, who we haven't really mentioned in this race, but finds himself in 9th place.
Yeah, another really quiet driver who's kind of stuck around the middle ground. Rashan Jacobs now in towards turn number 1, getting past Comrade into P3. The McLaren forced out wide. Nelson Alves thinks about a move here in towards the second or third corner. He tries to swing it around the outside, doesn't quite have enough traction. Lillian for the Ferrari retakes the race lead here away from Jan with the assistance of DRS. The McLaren now once again being bombarded by the Williams and Nelson Alves, who's not letting this slip and actually has managed to get P4 here, Alex.
A lovely place to make an overtake. If you have that run on a car, you've just got to go for it because you have such a good exit into the corner and such a good entry into the next one. And now, in terms of our pit stoppers, they are still, well, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. Actually, Gabriel Quintino, is in 14th as well. 8 seconds off of that middle pack, but they are basically on the same bit of tarmac, on the same straight now.
Yeah, they are starting to catch up, and that's the really fascinating thing for our drivers. They are slowly, incrementally catching on the drivers in front. Don't forget there's a 3.5 second gap from Sergio Sabrino down to, up to Conrad Bohm as Jan takes away the race lead from the Scuderia Ferrari. And that Aston Martin, Rashan Jacobs, I think, thought about a move to follow his teammate through, but wasn't successful on this occasion. Angelo Tenzio taking away the race lead effectively from Gabriel Quintino. Riccardo Benzoni follows his way through as well on that long back straight, and now we just wait for those hard runners to pit to see when they come out on the medium tyre. I'll tell you what, folks, do not change that dial. This race is going right until lap 25.
Certainly is. There's going to be some last-minute central moves, I could imagine. In terms of our top 5, as they have broken away from this mid-pack, TK, this is the sort of pack I expect to be fighting for those, maybe the P5, P6s, maybe even a last-minute podium.
Yep, I think you're absolutely right. There's no telling who can end up at what juncture here in this race. I mean, it could quite go to absolutely anybody in the course of this Grand Prix. I mean, Luca Rapace, not only did he have a poor pit stop, by the looks of it, he's at 5 seconds off the back of Tope. He's lost about 1.5 seconds since coming out of the pit lane, because he was only 3.5 seconds back from that pack, and then there comes a 3-second penalty. Is that wing damage really causing carnage to the Mercedes?
Well, I think he did change his wing in the pits. That's why he had a bit of a slower stop. Did he not change his wing in the pits? Well, he just had a long stop and didn't change his wing. Couldn't be going worse for him right now. But Jan will take the lead of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And then we're going to see an Aston Martin 1-2 because Rashan Jacobs is closing in as well. He's closing in. He's closing in. Is he closing in enough? I think he certainly is. And he may take second place. And you know what? He has, TK.
He certainly has. Smart move, just backing off from his teammate. Didn't want to send a move down the inside. Yeah, not only would that hurt into constructor relationships, potentially into team relationships as well, as Nelson Alves follows in the footsteps of Rashan Jacobs, gets past Lillian and says thank you very much, P3, and immediately turns his attention to the Aston Martins that stand in front of him. King Gordondorp, 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane here, Alex.
Gary Van Brussel also with 10 seconds of speeding in the pit lane. But our hard tyre runners are in, TK, and it is Riccardo Benzoni who leads them. He's out ahead of Angelo D'Asensio.
Well, who's got the fastest lap at the moment? Is that held by Rashan Jacobs? Could we see someone taking it towards the end of this Grand Prix? But as it stands, Riccardo Benzoni is able to pull through the field as well as we saw in the early stages of this race. We could see 16 points heading the way of the Haas garage. We'll continue.
Well, we had a bit of a... Oh,
we good?
Lag?
Hello?
I think we're back. Yeah, that was interesting. Don't know what's happening there. Hello?
We're good. Let's continue through the race.
Let's continue through the race. We're on lap 13 of 25. The drivers are starting to pit.
Yeah, we lost Alex there again.
Obviously, he's struggling.
I think Discord's struggling.
What's going on? Discord might be struggling.
Yeah, we're having Alex cut out on our end, which is rather unfortunate. We'll try and keep you entertained. I mean, Alex could be potentially disconnecting from the voice call and reconnecting and seeing if that potentially fixes any issues that we may be having. we have got Alex back in, but I've got some pit stops to inform you about. As Rashan Jacobs and Conrad both dive in towards the pit lane, along with Sergio Sobrino, Liam Stevens. Those 4 drivers now into the pit lane that were originally on the harder tyre. Andre Dortenzio heading the fastest lap of the race here.
Oh, you were asking who had fastest lap, TK? Am I still lagging?
You are still lagging. I mean, I've got a green connection on my end. I'm not quite sure.
Well, so do I, which is interesting. Is it better now?
Yeah, I think so. We'll keep going. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. It's fine. It's just a little bit of a feature. It's what happens sometimes.
Exactly.
So
it's one of those
Angelo
things.
has fastest lap. Angelo's fastest lap, sitting in 7th place. He's ahead of his teammate Riccardo Benzoni.
Yes, Riccardo Benzoni. I'm trying to find whereabouts he is on the track at the moment. P7
Oh my God.
stands.
What is going on?
I have
Discord
no idea.
I'm going to have a restart of Discord. I'll be back in a minute.
Well, while Alex goes away and sorts out Discord, we'll keep you informed in what's going on. And just a quick refresher on who has pit so far. Jan takes away the race lead from Nelson Alves here. Lap 14 of 25. Lillian follows him through now to secure P2 on the track. And our top 6 remain pit stop 3 as it stands. Harvey Cohen and Daniel are in P5 and pit 6 respectively. Riccardo Benzoni now effectively the race leader when everybody comes back out in that pit order. Everybody now starting to come in from our front running 6. Riccardo Benzoni almost certainly now will retake the race lead that he once originally held as Tudor gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. We still haven't had Alex come back and return yet, but Riccardo Benzoni, there we go, swooping through all of the drivers that have had their original pit stops. Andre Dortenzio and Gabriel Quintino and Leo Lund make it a 4-way top 4 for Veloce Academy. Jan and Rashan Jacobs top off the top 6 with TES drivers, and then top A, well, allows the 7th through to make it a 4 and 3 for VA and Tez.
Hopefully, I am now back and better than ever. And yeah, we're just seeing those pit stops go down, TK. It's going to be interesting here now, the rest of the race. 10 laps to go.
Certainly is 10 laps to go on this Grand Prix, when of course we cross the timing being next time around. There's not as much of a gap as I thought there would be between our hard and our medium runners. I'll pull the tyres up on the screen now. And if you look, Jan actually only pitted last time out. He's only come out in P6 here, Alex. He has gone for an amazing stint on those hard tyres in the original first few laps.
It's somehow come out in 6th place.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, we did lose you ever so slightly there, but I think we got the understanding of your messages. Angelo Dortenzio gets past Riccardo Benzoni to take the race lead away from the Haas car. Angelo Dortenzio now in the race lead. These are our 2 championship battles here, Alex, and they're going to scrap it out for the race win.
10 laps, scrap for each 10.
Certainly is. I think we're still losing Alex.
What? I don't know why this is happening. It's only happening when I'm talking now.
It is really bizarre. I'm going to blame Discord. Liam Stevens set the fastest lap of the race as we did have the penalties up on screen briefly there. Jerry Van Bustle getting past 6 and Lindhart, Sergio Sobrino following through on Liam Stevens. But what are your thoughts here, Alex, on the top 4 all being VA drivers?
Well, it's very interesting, TK. They're all on the same strategy as well, all going on with that one-stop hard strategy. And they found themselves currently 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th with the 2 TS drivers on the mediums in behind.
Certainly have indeed. I mean, Conrad at the moment has the opportunity to try and pull closer to his teammates, making a 5, 6, 7 for TES. But I think Nelson Alves will try and do everything in his power to prevent the reunification of the teammates.
So as it stands, TK, do Angelo and Riccardo go on into the final race on equal points?
No, because of how the point structure works. So I think it's 16 and 12 for our top 10. Whoever wins this out of the top 2 essentially will go into the race with more points. I think they needed to finish something like 6th and 4th, 5th and 6th on track to go in with equal points.
That's still possible.
100% more than possible with how close this grid is. I mean, if you look down all the way to P9, all within a second of each other, as Nelson Alves sets the fastest lap of the race. This It's going to be a fantastic end to the race, folks.
It certainly is. Oh, Jan! Keane's out. He's in the pit lane, though.
Oh,
He's
we're
in the
going to have a
pit.
safety car.
No, he's in the pit lane. But we've got a big 5-wide battle going through that middle sector. Not going to work at all. And the medium tyres are firing through the grid, TK, because Nelson Alves is ahead of Leo Lund as well.
This is an incredible battle. There's 2 battles going on. We've got a leading pack and essentially the peloton here this afternoon. There's contacts as the Mercedes into wall. The Alpine facing the wrong way. Sixten Lentart losing even more of that front wing. The Mercedes of Jerry Van Bossel getting caught up as well. And absolutely nobody's giving an inch. This is incredible racing. And that's into a wall. Sixten Lentart pushed into a wall by Jerry Van Bossel. Surely safety car.
Well, that has just changed the face of this Grand Prix. And has it changed it to a point where the title could be in anyone's hands? Leon's got a 10-second time penalty for a severe collision with Conrad Bohm.
Wow, what an end we are about to have. And I think the stewards could have a fairly slam dunk case here for the incident between Jerry Van Bossel and Sixten Lentart. I mean, that was on stream. And we caught it pretty much the entire way through. This could be a rather, well, let's just say a post-race penalty coming the way of our McLaren reservist.
Well, it's a shame, especially considering he was doing quite well as well in qualifying, and of course his teammate putting it on pole. We've got drivers putting into the pits, and it is the top. Well, no, we don't have all the drivers putting into the pits. All the hard runners are in the pits.
I think that's a fairly good bet from them here. Of course, they'll be rather stranded on the harder tyres with the advantage that the mediums are about to get. Is anyone going to gamble with a set of softs? No, mediums going on. All of our hard runners at present. Tope being the only driver. Luca Rapassa and Lillian have taken the bet. They've gone all out on red here, Alex. Are their numbers going to come out trumps?
Well, we're going to find out. They're on red tyres, they're on the red wall, they're in the red car. But will it mean anything when we get to the end of the race? We're going to have to go. Is there enough laps for the likes of Angelo, of Gabriel, of Ricardo to get through the pack?
Well, that's the question. I mean, Sixten Lentart leaves the session. I'm going to fairly assume head in his hands here after that earlier incident with Jerry Van Bossel, who actually has headed into the pit lane along with Julia Prescan, which again, fairly expected. But we've got a battle of the medium and the softs now to see this race out. It's going to be incredible to see who comes out on top in a few laps' time. I think we are still having connection issues.
It's certainly, I think, let's...
We're going to go to a BRI back soon. I'm going to leave the Discord call and restart and just see if that makes something work.
Yeah.
So bear with us 2 minutes, folks. We will be right back. I don't have a BRI back screen sorted here, so I'm going to have to click it manually.
In audio.
Well, we're back. At least I'm back. I don't know whether Alex is 100% back yet, but I didn't want to lose too much of the safety car. Actually, I appreciate everybody loves a little bit of the safety car, especially with the situation we've got at the moment. Alex, can we have a check-in with Deathling 10?
Hello.
There we go. Lovely.
Lovely stuff. We moved commentary boxes. That might have fixed the problem.
Oh, we did, unintentionally.
Well, no, I've dragged you in here.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I thought it might give us some good luck as well.
Yeah, we've now moved to commentary box 1. We've taken away the top spot. Sorry, George. We've now claimed this.
Yeah, this is our territory now. I'm the captain now, as they say. Safety car's going to be in this lap, I imagine.
You'd assume so. Everybody bunched up.
So 5 to go.
6 to go.
6 to go. Sorry, I always forget you don't count the lap you're on.
Yes.
So 6 to go. Sixten is out. So it can't be him who wins it. But get your predictions in chat, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you think is going to win this Grand Prix? And who do you think will leave Vegas as our championship leader as we go towards the Kingdom of Bahrain?
It's going to be interesting. Riccardo Benzoni in P6. Angelo Dortenzio in P8. One place between them, and there stands Gabriel Quintino for the remaining 6 laps of this Grand Prix. And I'm expecting the call to come around now if we're seeing the safety car come in this lap. They are just leaving a good bit of distance up to Bert Mylander, and it's going to be a late call, I think, by the look of it.
It's going to be a very late call. Is it because Jan isn't close to the safety car that they've not decided to call it in?
Oh,
it's very late indeed. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are on lap 19 of 25. We are about to head on to lap 20 of 25. It is the 2 Aston Martins first and second with Nelson Alves in between. Our championship contenders are split by a Red Bull of Gabriel Quintino. And who will lead the championship going to the Kingdom of Bahrain as the safety car is in and Jan is underway and he's absolutely caught the napping because he's got himself a nice 4/10 gap as we race down into the first corner, and it looks like Angelo is already taking advantage of getting past Gabriel Quintino. He needs to make this work. He needs to get in front of the Red Bull, and he's certainly done it now. Benzoni trying to charge further through because he does not want to have any pressure from the Mercedes behind. But right now it's Jan who leads Nelson, who leads Rashad Jacobs, who leads Liam Stevens. But the behind battle, Benzoni and Angelo are only centimetres apart.
They are indeed. Stevens getting past Conrad there. P4 for himself. Beautiful move. Riccardo Benzoni thought about a move down the inside on the McLaren. Slate sent it late. Conrad reacts well, going later on the brakes as well, just holding side by side with the Haas car. But I think the Haas has got better traction out of the corner. Riccardo Benzoni, beautiful move.
And now Angelo's got to do something similar, something spectacular, because he does not want to have a car in between himself and Riccardo Benzoni, but right now he does. There's no DRS, of course, for another lap. They've got to wait one more lap before it gets enabled. Angelo may not have that time to waste. He's got to try and clear this McLaren fairly quickly, and it might be down this straight, but it looks like Riccardo Benzoni struggling for straight line speed because the McLaren is catching him, but Benzoni can't make that move on Liam Stevens, not on this occasion.
Certainly is looking that way. There's a late dive further back. Daniel thought about a move on Leo London towards the corner again, just sitting behind, biding his time. But Riccardo Benzoni, as you said, now has to think defence and attack at the same time. Conrad looks to the inside line of the final corner whilst Angelo Dortenzio swings run around the outside. Gets the move on the McLaren. The pressure tyres coming in clutch for Angelo Dortenzio. Beautiful move from the VA driver, continuing to swing around the outside. That allows him to have the inside line as we head in towards the second corner. And now he spots up ahead of him his championship contender, Riccardo Benzoni, with the rear flaps open as DRS got enabled at the end of last lap.
So, they are now 5th and 6th, TK, which were your predictions to where they need to finish to be equal on points. But I think Angelo needs to be in front of Benzoni for that to happen.
He does. You are absolutely correct. Angelo needs to finish ahead of Benzoni if he wants to go into the final round equal on points. We've seen it happen in real life before. We're maybe about to see it in PSGL here.
We might indeed, but these two won't settle for equal points. One needs to be ahead of the other by the end of the year, and why not get it done now? Oh, as Angelo's almost sent it straight into the wall because Benzoni's closing in now on Liam Stevens, but Angelo Dortenzio is no slouch in a straight line. He's got that DRS, he's got that ERS. He may challenge the Haas car here of Riccardo Benzoni. Will he go for it down the inside? Nelson Alves takes the lead of the Grand Prix. On this occasion, he can't make it work, but Angelo did not go for it. He's waited, and he's got a bit deep in the corner there, TK.
He was under pressure from Conrad. Conrad thought about a move in towards the inside line. That's not helped him. But by the looks of it, Lillian's had an accident in towards that corner. The Ferrari has been dropped considerably further back.
Ferrari down into 16th and 15th. The Ferraris may have come together here in Las Vegas. That is not what the Scuderia want to be seeing, especially from their two reserves. As now Angelo a little bit further behind on Liam Stevens. Is he just biding his time? Is he just waiting? Maybe he thinks he can't get any further. Maybe he just wants that P5. Maybe he wants to be equal on points.
Maybe he's happy with where he sits. He knows he can get the job done come Bahrain next week. Of course, Vegas is a tricky circuit. One minor mistake and you find yourself in the wall, and this is going to be the battle in our driver's head at the moment. Do they go for that risky move down the inside, or do they go for almost certainty as things stand? Benzoni will head into the final round, a couple of points ahead of D'Otenzio, but I don't think D'Otenzio is fully settled on staying in P6 here.
No, of course, as it stands, Riccardo Benzoni will lead by a very slim margin going into the final round in Bahrain, but it may all change around in the next straight as Angelo is lining up a move. He's essentially pushing the Haas car down the back straight. Is he going to go for it, or is he just going to sit and wait? He doesn't need to make that move, TK. He knows the laps are coming down, and he knows he's got Benzoni's number.
He certainly does. He's got the battery. He's charging. We see this in NASCAR. We see this in circuit racing all the time. They're essentially bump drafting off one another, and Angelo D'Otenzio could quite possibly be waiting for the opportunity to send a move on lap 25 and 25. I say that as the Alpine of Liam Stevens has to go very defensive from the Haas car of Riccardo Benzoni. Benzoni manages to squirm his way through, and I think D'Otenzio is going to try and wiggle through as well. The Mercedes, where there's barely any room to go down the inside line, now is in a drag race against the Alpine. The Mercedes comes out on top. Rashan Jacobs almost sending the Haas car into a barrier, and this is going to be the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. What are we about to see? Riccardo Benzoni once again escaping towards safety.
He certainly is. Angelo trying every trick in the book to keep up with the Haas car. I think Riccardo knew he was going to be absolutely done down that back straight if he didn't do something about it. So he's done something about it. He's pulled the trigger a bit earlier than maybe some were expecting, but he's found himself in the top three, which is a huge point swing as it stands. Angelo not finished though.
He's found himself in the top three, but he's right on the crest of DRS. Look at how close it is between Nelson Alves and Riccardo Benzoni. The gap about 9.5 tenths. If Benzoni loses DRS, he could be in a whole heap of trouble. He's just managed to hold on as Nelson Alves takes away the race lead here. But this is where Riccardo Benzoni loses not one, but two positions as Rashan Jacobs and Angelo D'Otenzio making their way through. Now we have a real championship fight on our hands. Sergio Sabrino getting past Leon Lund, and Sergio goes smashing into the barrier.
He certainly does. That's probably wing damage, and it is on the right-hand side. Damage to the Kick Sauber and Luca Rapassa, who came into this weekend with a chance of a slim chance of the championship, has got no chance anymore. But Gabriel Quintino flying through the field still. He was one of the people that missed out on climbing through the field like Angelo and Benzoni did. But Benzoni in fifth right now. He will not be leading the championship going into the final round as it stands on this penultimate lap.
He won't be indeed. He won't be a happy bunny about that. We're on the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix. It's been thrilling all the way through from start to finish. How the first 5 laps went by so quickly as Rashan Jacobs now picks up a 3-second penalty. 4 track limits warning. Yellow flags further back as Lillian starts to come to somewhat of a stop on that long back straight. But this will effectively promote Riccardo Benzoni up to P4 when the penalty becomes applied, and bringing the gap between Angelo and Riccardo ever closer at the end of this Grand Prix.
And that could be a penalty that could be huge in the championship come the final round. And it may not even be applying to one of our drivers. But Angelo has to make this move now. He's got to get past Jan. And I think he's going to. It's going to be an easy pass. It's going to be like taking candy from a baby. And maybe Jan might go for it as well. But Angelo, I thought he might have to commit to the race lead. But Jan's broke so late into the corner to try and hold up. But he can't do it. Benzoni now has to get past Jan to have any chance of the top 3. Sergio Sabrino's hit the wall a little bit harder this time, and Conrad, who was on pole, is out of the race.
Wow, what a thrilling, well, I was going to say, what a thrilling end to the Grand Prix we're going to have. 2 drivers removed from this Grand Prix. Final lap, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, as Angelo D'Otenzio takes the race lead. Riccardo Benzoni is in P3. He dispatches Jan in the Aston Martin. Nelson Alves will stand between them, but look at this, Jan is coming back at them down towards the second sector. Tight right-hander for our drivers to navigate. Riccardo Benzoni is getting swamped by Aston Martins left and right. Nelson Alves trying to defend from the Aston Martins himself. He's going to lose focus of Angelo D'Otenzio. Look at how close all of our drivers here in towards the second sector.
Another yellow flag as there's all sorts of chaos going on behind as people are just going for dive bombs now. And it looks like somehow Gabriel Quintino's got through it all. But for our race leader, Angelo, is going to be a sitting duck down this back straight. He's going to get absolutely ripped by several drivers, and you never want to be leading on the last lap of a Grand Prix when there's a huge DRS zone. But has he got the gap to his main rival of Riccardo Benzoni? He doesn't need to win this. He just needs to stay in front of the Haas car. But here we go, down the back straight now. He's lost one place. Is he going to lose two? Is he going to lose three? Because here comes Riccardo Benzoni, but he can't break that late. But Jan holds it around the outside. They're still going wheel to wheel, but he can't keep third place. He's lost it on the last lap, which means Nelson Alves can win the Las Vegas Grand Prix, or can he? Because here comes Angelo D'Asensio, but the line comes up too quickly. Oh, there's been a big crash on the line, but somehow they're all still facing the right way. Jan got third.
He did. Riccardo Benzoni got tagged coming around the final corner, across the line at a 90-degree angle, and that's what's caused him to lose the time. Jan in front of him, Liam Stevens almost getting caught as collateral as well, finishing just 16 thousandths of a second behind the Haas car. But as you said, Nelson Alves wins by 56 thousandths of a second. An incredible margin after 25 laps of racing here, Alex.
It certainly is. And Benzoni, how crucial are those lost points going to be come Bahrain?
Wow, this is going to be fascinating to see how close our two drivers are going to be. What an ending we've just seen to this Grand Prix. We saw Lillian, more importantly, taking the fastest lap of the race, so the extra point couldn't go to any of our championship contenders. The driver down in P14 stole it away from anybody. And of course, being outside the top 10, don't even get the point themselves as they come drifting across the line. Barely any grip on those soft tyres left. But Lillian will finish down in P13. We'll run you through the complete order in just a moment. But what a race. And driver of the day from the game goes to Nelson Alves, Alex. Who would you give yours to?
I mean, I need to have a look through the grid again as we look through the winner's celebration there. In terms of my driver of the day, I think I'm going to go to Nelson Alves because he came from 14th on the grid. 14th to 1st. It's a fantastic result. Jan, 10th to 3rd. Riccardo was only 12th to 4th. It's been a great result for a lot of these drivers. I mean, Leo Lund, 17th to 9th. He finished in the points.
He did. I mean, it's a fantastic drive all throughout this calendar. I mean, everybody has given it their absolute all. I mean, my driver of the day here is going to go to Riccardo Benzoni. It may not have been the best qualifying result for himself, but he's managed to pull it back. And I mean, P4 on the field at the end of the day, that could have been enough to save some championship hopes heading in towards Bahrain.
Well, that could be crucial for the final race. It could be crucial. But how much losing that third place with literally milliseconds to go could cost him come the final Grand Prix. I'm going to make a decision that we don't do interviews today because we've had quite a long race and I think there's quite a lot of animosity going on in the general chat right now for F2. So I think we'll leave for next week. So next week we have a proper big interview session with with our new champion.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption. I don't think many people normally want to talk anyway, so we never force anybody. Let's put that out there.
For sure. But TK, that brings the end to PSGL for today. We've got one more round in the Kingdom of Bahrain next week on Thursday. Of course, it will be at the normal time of 8 p.m. And you'll see myself and TK here for one final time in season 38. TK, it's going to be quite the final round, I think.
Certainly is. It's going to be a thriller in the Kingdom of Bahrain. A track that is well known for overtakes, well known for a little bit of chaos as well. I think we'll see some optimistic moves into turn one.
Yeah, we certainly will. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching tonight's stream. I've obviously been Alex, also known as Deathlink, and that has been Tom Knight, also known as They Call Me TK. And until then, we'll see everyone next time. Goodbye.